I know it's year one, and I'm actually like not one of those like ostentatious people or like the ones who are being overzealous, acting like Victor Wembanyama is like the greatest thing since God. I'm also very aware. Shout out Hoops Hype. It's where I work. Go read my articles at hoopshype.com. Also follow me on Twitter and subscribe. But I'm also very aware. Yes, if there wasn't Chet Holmgren, I mean, Vic might actually win a Rookie of the Year. Now, obviously, he's not going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but I'm aware that the Spurs have a very good chance to be good, and they're building up. I'm also aware that the Thunder are one of the best teams in the league. The Thunder tonight, lost by 14 points to the Spurs, and it was a crazy game. And everyone's gonna obviously act like, the Spurs have arrived, which good that they feel that way. But I also like to remind you that this was in the third game in 4 nights for the Thunder. So also in the last 7 days, it was their 5th game, 5 games in 7 days. I mean, the Spurs were also on a grind, but let's just put that in there. Also, the Thunder played their entire bench. Now the Spurs, I would like to say people who I want to shout out. Zach Collins had a good game. I'm surprised Chetty Osman. I think they really like his value, his leadership, and they've kept him there. Keldon Johnson off the bench just doesn't feel right to me. And this season, I want to see what I was looking at his stats, but Keldon Johnson off the bench this season. What is his stats? It's not as nice. 14.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and on the season he's averaging 16 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 55% league average shooting. But I've always been a huge Keldon Johnson fan, like ridiculously big Keldon Johnson. Devin Vassell is what we're going to talk about. Devin Vassell is so good, so efficient. Honestly, if you're a Spurs fan, it's the duo of Devin Vassell and Victor Wembanyama, which is like the perfect pairing, kind of like a 2-guard, 3-guard. I mean, 2 and a 3. Devin Vassell's like 6'6", so he can play. He has the ball handling and stuff to play the 2 and facilitating to be like a secondary playmaker, but he's also big enough to guard 1 through 3 and also play some 3 if they wanted to play him there. And I think on a championship team, he is the third option. I do think they need a second option, but the fact that I think Devin Vassell is like one of those guys, kind of like OG Anunoby. I think he has the potential to maybe be better offensively, maybe not as good defensively, but like definitely within the ballpark where could be an all defensive team member, once or twice in his career. But to me, I think the biggest thing is just understanding that they have a core here. Okay? They have a core here. And Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama is that core. That's where it starts, okay? Next, you got the 2 guys there. Now you just got to find the middle guy, the connector. Devin Vassell, Vic, Trae Young. I'm kidding. But you get what I mean. Point guard would be ideal. Now they need a small forward. I think having Jeremy Sohan, if Vic is going to be a power forward and they're going to get a rebounding center, like maybe they trade for Clint Capella, which I honestly think they would be benefiting better from. I'm trying to think of who's the better version of Jared Vanderbilt, but moving Vic to center, having a Jared Vanderbilt type. But yeah, I guess you know what? I think, in my opinion, I agree that maybe keeping Vic at power forward, getting like a Clint Capella, Jonas Valanciunas at the center position. Then you put Jeremy Sohan at but that screwed the spacing, even though Jeremy Sohan is showing better 3-point shooting. But the idea is Jeremy Sohan's your defensive, guy who's kind of like weird glue connector guy thing in the middle. You find your point guard. All right. You have Devin Vassell shooting guard, Jeremy Sohan there, or you could put Keldon Johnson there, Vic, and whoever, you get at center, like a rebounding passing center. And then now you have off the bench, right? We have our 5 lineup right there that we just said. Now off the bench, let's say you start Jeremy and you put Keldon off the bench. You have Trey Jones, who you can keep there. I really like Zach Collins. I would say like 2 more dudes. Again, like this is like in theory, like let's say if they went out and somehow got I'm trying to think of someone realistic that could become available in the next like year or two. Let's say they went out and got like Klay Thompson at small forward this offseason, and then at point guard they went out and got like Chris Paul, spent like $20 million on each of them, just signed them to like 1-year deals with like team options on the second year, with like overpaying similar to what like Bruce Brown got from the Pacers. And that way if they suck they can move on after a year. And they do that, and then you move literally Sohan and to the bench, and then you maybe sign another guy like as a 6-man who could be a guy who could come out this offseason. I mean, Malik Monk, I think it's a free agent. That'd be a crazy team. Guys. And that's how, and the thing is right there, you'd have Devin, Klay, Chris Paul, Vic, Devin Vassell, Klay, Vic, and all you need is a center at that point. And what you send, I mean, they have cap space, so you don't even have to send, but you could send them like, here's Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley for like Clint. Or like Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, Jonas is going to be a free agent, so the possibilities there are endless. I really like that one. If you're a Spurs fan, the future is bright, ladies and gentlemen. The future is bright. And you got to be happy about that, because for a lot of people in their teams, it's not as bright and it's not as happy, and it's a little bit more gloom. So for me, I think that's like the things that you need to see where, hey, what can we do to improve these teams? What can we do to make them better in the short term, but not hamper long-term development? So, I mean, that's the balance that any executive needs to address. But I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen here, because they have the ability to be pretty great for a long time, man. I'm envious as a Wizards Magic. I mean, my Magic look good, and so do my Timberwolves for the first time. My Wizards look fucking terrible. I was born in Minnesota. I live in Miami now, but lived in the suburbs of Orlando, and then most of my life then in Maryland, and then Kansas, of course. But that's the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Also, let me know your thoughts about this side camera. Go read my shit on Hoops Hype. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. Instagram, all that good stuff. Bye.